It's disappointing that we're not engaging with real humans. The fact that we, yes, it might be a real human behind that account, but it wasn't real soul-driven work. Anyway, I was originally going to record this sitting down. And I don't know if that's like bad, because I think, if I'm going to be completely honest, I think anything that I'm going to put out in the future maybe ought to be me standing up or just being engaged, or being more real with the audience. And I think my biggest gripe right now with AI, not with AI, just with the state of the world a little bit, is the fact that I think ever since COVID-19, community, or the sense of community within the creative space has fallen apart. And not to say that there isn't some community, but it seems like anytime we get on any form of social media platform, everyone is, not necessarily that it's their goal, but eventually there's just division and arguments between whatever else, and there's a lot less support felt. So yeah, that being said, I'd like this channel to become more than what it has been, and do a lot more than what it has done. Let's say, not to say that YouTube hasn't been a priority or important to me, but it's still something that I should do or could do very easily, given all the equipment that I have for all of the client work that I do. So that's really where things are living with me, with in my mind. I don't know that my YouTube community, I know I have about 500 something subscribers, but I'm not sure if that even matters right now, or if that audience is completely dead. That being said, I moved my office downstairs. A lot of mindset shifting and changing probably within the last 2 months, really, in the way that I'm running my business, in the priorities that I have in mind for my business, for YouTube, for podcasts, for all the content that I'm doing. It just makes sense for me to do this. On the note that I don't want to just make content for businesses. I want to have a spot and a space where I make stuff for myself. That's really where that lives with me. And it's a lot easier for me to make videos now, as of recently. I would say September. I shouldn't say it's recent, fairly recent. It's not 5 years ago, but I was shooting on a Canon 1DX Mark III. That it's not a great camera. I dragged my feet to get into the mirrorless setups. I even posted on Threads recently that your 15-year-old camera still takes great pictures, and still gives you the opportunity and ability to create great and phenomenal images. That being said, yes, I am shooting on a R5 Mark II, but that doesn't mean that my Canon 20D doesn't shoot great images, or that my film camera over there doesn't create as well, or doesn't help me create as well. That being said, it's a lot easier, meaning there are some video capabilities within the R5 Mark II that my 1DX Mark III did not have. One of those being the fact that I can record in different codecs, and the same card in this camera, I can shoot 4K footage for 4 hours, whereas in my 1DX Mark III, I maybe would have got 30 minutes to shoot 4K footage. So that being said, there's no reason. I think that was always a hard thing for me to do, is to try to dedicate content to YouTube in 4K, and there wasn't quite a reward in it. It didn't feel like there was a reward for the cost that was given. Not to say that it shouldn't be earned, but it was just hard, because I was giving up hard drive space for YouTube when I had clients that were paying, And so anyway, maybe that sounds like an excuse. So anyway, this is the year without excuses, or the plan. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't say I don't know, because I do know. I just want to be more authentic with the audience that I have and the audiences that I get. I don't know why. Every time I get on camera, my nose itches. It's probably because I'm thinking about it. But yeah, authenticity. I mean, we're living in a world with AI, and it's wild, and it's great, and it's not at the same time. And I follow a couple of different people, and they've shared some sentiments on AI, and the fact that it's something that we need to be working with, not against, and we shouldn't let it have full control over the outcomes of the things that we do. Because it is great. It's great to use it to implement strategies, or not implement, but churn through ideas for strategies. It's great for asking things, or like looking for case studies on why something will work or won't work for you, because it's 2026. A lot of things have already been done. Not to say that new things can't be done, but most niche type things that you're trying to do have been done before, or some type of way been done. And so there's a lot of space in there for you to learn from someone else's mistakes. And I think often, that's where I'm going, I guess, is being able to use AI to quickly move a lot faster to figure out why or why not in something, and the mistakes that someone has already made, so you can avoid them. But it doesn't mean that you should use AI to execute the end result. And I think that is where my biggest gripe is seeing people that have a full, and don't get me wrong, like, all the power to them, but I think from a creative standpoint, I want to connect with people, and that is the whole goal behind imagery and art. And for me, I don't feel like I can have a connection, and it's so frustrating and hard to kind of even grasp a little bit, because I'd be lying, I guess, if I said I wasn't maybe somewhat bitter. And I think there's a lot of other photographers or videographers or any other creative space type people that when they learn that someone chose AI over their own personal human made created memory, image, whatever it be, is disappointing, I guess would be the way to put that. Because there was sweat and tears and energy, gas, money that went into creating something for somebody to see, or for their own whatever. And then you're like, oh, I'm not going to like that because I don't want to whatever. But then everyone sees these AI created images, that perfect clouds and whatever, and it gets so much attention. And it's disappointing. It's disappointing that we're not engaging with real humans. The fact that we, yes, it might be a real human behind that account, but it wasn't real soul-driven work. So anyway, I guess that's kind of where I'm at a little bit with things. But because of that realization with all the content and everything else there, yeah, I want more connection in life. There's a yearning and a desire to have that, and I think I'm not the only one. In fact, I know I'm not the only one that wants more of that. And I think, again, going back to what I first said, COVID, I think, did a lot of harm for us as human beings, being able to connect with people on a much more human level. So yeah, it's really all this video is, me talking about it, me expressing an opinion. So yeah, If you vibe with this, if you vibe with the idea of me doing more content, if you vibe with the thoughts and things that I presented, I'd love to connect. Give me a follow, give me a subscribe, whatever this platform, wherever it lands. I'd appreciate it, because I guess in a spot where I'm at, it's like it makes total sense for me to go at this 100% and give it all the attention and love that it deserves. And yeah, I think that's really where I'm at with this. Is it needs to be done. I need to just, I don't know. I've built a great community and following through other platforms, whether it be TikTok and Instagram and whatever else. And as cool as that's been, I think YouTube long term is the one that rewards creators the most. And I'm in a spot, I've got a wife and kid and a family, and it makes more sense for me. I think Instagram was fun when it was fun, and it still is, but I guess I'll go into a little bit of this on the business side of stuff. So Instagram's great. It really is. And so many creators have talked about how that's your portfolio of work, and it is, but it's not where business is won. And what I mean by that is business isn't, very rarely or if at all have I gained clients through Instagram. Mainly, I would say I've had clients through LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn and Google have been the bread and butter always, and probably will always be that way. Not to say that YouTube can't be that way, but YouTube as a platform does a lot better job rewarding and paying their creators. And that's where I'm at. Is it makes more sense for me to put time and energy into here, into YouTube, into the content that I create for the channel and the community that I can build here, than it does for me to create stuff for Instagram or Threads or X or Facebook or anything else. Because at the end of the day, they don't reward you. They don't pay you extra for someone else running an ad on your campaign. They're pocketing all of that AdSense and ad spend that other companies are using and putting in place of your crap. So the audience is dead, I think, in my opinion. Like, as far as engagement goes, there's no community really there. I would say Threads is pretty cool right now until it's ruined. But yeah. Anyway, that's kind of what I want to share on here. Talk business, talk what I'm doing, talk what I'm working through, what I'm working on, how things are going, negotiating contracts or whatever. Because partly because it's been a topic of recent, it's been a topic on as of recently for me that, back it up. My daughter was born about 2.5 years ago, and everything kind of took a back burner on the work and the content that I was creating. To give context into that, I'm fine with that. I'm totally at peace with that. I think you should always, whoever you are, viewing this, family should always come first before anything else. Work, life, or whatever, school, family should be first. Anyway, if it's your family, it should be first. And I'm not going to speak to people that have parents that maybe might be holding them back, but if it is your family, your kid or your wife or whatever, they need to come first before anything else. That being said, part of doing this is putting them first, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. In the past 2 years, everything, like I said, took a back slate, and even the conversations that I was having as far as those, work type relationships and and talking contracts and talking business type conversations, I kind of fell out of the loop with. And I would say it's just like photography or videography or anything else. If you don't practice it, it's something that starts to slack and you get rusty at. And sitting in on a sales call conversation a couple weeks ago, I was like, wow, I kind of screwed that one up. And not to say that I didn't screw it up completely. But there was a lot of confidence lacking in myself in that conversation. And I realized if I go back to 2.5 years before my daughter came around, that during the time of me doing more stuff surrounding YouTube, surrounding podcasts, doing stuff with fitness and everything else, that my confidence was a lot higher. And so I kind of owe it to myself to, I don't know, that was kind of like the motivator for me to rethink a lot of things and reevaluate where I'm at, because I looked at that a little bit and I was like, wait, where was the confidence I had 3 or 4 years ago, right around the time of COVID? You know, there was a lot of confidence I had during months of COVID, and I think TikTok gave me some of that, this sense of no judgment, whatever, on I shouldn't say no judgment, but it was a place that you put stuff out and said, so what? And that's kind of the vibe and energy that I want to bring to YouTube, actually, because there's a lot more that can be done here than on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, because this is, I think, where I can really sit down and have this conversation with you and build a community that is a lot more passionate about the work that I'm doing. And I think in the beginning stages around the time of COVID, you look at Peter McKinnon talking about, you know, his dad now and how long he's been at YouTube. And I think at the beginning stages of that, and he blew up so quickly that there was a lot of people that were fans. I can't say that I wasn't also a fan, but on the same note of that, it was like, there was like this hypocritical feeling of, oh, I don't want to be like him. And making YouTube channel, there was just like a lot of like, I don't know, like a stereotypical like thing, like if you put your hat on backwards on the camera and stuff. And it makes sense to put your hat on backwards when you're on camera with a light like this. And I'll show you why. Because if I put it on like this, I guess that I have the light set up in a good way, but I could have this on and have a pretty prominent shadow if not done correctly. And so if you notice in a lot of his videos, then it just makes, like, even though, I don't know, it's less distracting. There's no logo in the front when it's on backwards, but anyway, yeah. I want to reach a spot in life where I'm not solely relying on one source of retirement income. I think as we all are. So if you can support that hustle, please like and subscribe to this channel and comment on this video and tell me what you liked about it and what you didn't. And I think I'm going to be a lot more raw with content coming out, because this is who I am and this is what I want to show, and this is what it is. So like it or hate it, I don't care. But this is where we're at. I got hair in my face now. Anyway, see ya.